No use crying, talking to a stranger, naming the sorrow you see. Too many bad times, too many sad times, and nobody knows what you mean. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all to me. No use rambling, dreaming in the darkness, seeking out a satisfied mind. Too many wrong times, too many long times, nobody's walking behind. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows, give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all to me. No use roaming, going by the roadside, looking for a spirit that's free. Too many highways, too many byways, and nobody knows what you see. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all to me. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all to me. Give them all to me. Give them all to me. No use crying, talking to a stranger, naming the sorrow you've seen. Too many bad times, too many sad times, and nobody knows what you mean. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use it. Give them all to me. No use rambling, dreaming in the darkness, seeking out a satisfied mind. Too many wrong times, too many long times. Nobody's walking behind. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows, give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all to me. No use roaming, going by the roadside, looking for a spirit that's free. Too many highways, too many byways, and nobody knows what you see. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and give them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them. Give them all. Give them all to me. Give them all to me.
Everyone. Ooh, lights. We're going to get started in about a minute, but there are some pictures being taken, so I want to give time for pictures. And if I can ask everyone to start finding their seats, that would be great. If you have not seen in the back of the room, there are bottles of water as well as some coalition goodies, so please help yourself, and we will get started very shortly. Friends, if I can ask you to just to make a few more hugs with the people that you want to hug, and we're going to get started very momentarily. I think you should just get. You should just do your thing.
Good evening. It's good to see you all on a rainy Monday evening. My job is very simple. I am just here to say thank you. My name is Mark Scott. I chair the board of the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. We like to think of our leadership structure as a bicameral one. So we have a community council that sort of drives a lot of our thinking and policy ideas and connections in community, and then the board takes care of a lot of the fiduciary responsibilities. I'm really happy to be saying thank you because there's plenty of evidence that gratitude improves your health. And I like to say sometimes that you have not because you think not. And so I would like to thank, first of all, the man of the hour, Coach Dennis G. Wilson. I have been in the coach's presence, and when you come into his presence, you know that's a coach. In her absence, but we will hear remarks from her, the Attorney General, Maura Healey. We will have music on tonight, so I want to thank Lisa Bello. I had a mentor once say to me that if we don't elevate the work we do to the level of art, we will never succeed. Big thanks to Bee. Are we in the back somewhere there? Right, there she is, right? Fundraiser extraordinaire, absolutely brilliant for her and the whole team working with her. Big thanks to the Cathedral Church of St. Paul. The Bible says that you should practice hospitality. And so we're grateful for your hospitality, not just on tonight, but over and over and over again. We are thankful to the church. I'm very happy to say that the Mayor Wu's Chief of Staff, Tiffany Chu, is with us tonight. Thank you for being here. We are very, very fortunate to have a very small and very mighty staff. So Ruth, Emily, Angelica, awesome, awesome team. Thank all of you. And I mentioned the community council and the board. One of the privileges, one of the things I really enjoy about my position is I get to work with a lot of really, really, really good people. And so big thanks to all of you who are on the board, community council, serving and working so hard. And then finally, and maybe most importantly, thanks to all of you for being here. I talked about giving thanks, and even on today in our country and over the weekend in our city, we continue to be scarred by gun violence. And so the gratitude, the thanksgiving, the being together is, in my mind, one of the best ways for us to resist, to overcome the scourge of gun violence. And so with that, let me give it back to our esteemed Executive Director, Ruth, for the rest of the program.
I may be esteemed, but I am also short. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm always very honored to say that I am Ruth Zachrin, and I am the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. And it's really lovely to be in this space, to be with so many friends. There are so many people here who are very dear to the coalition. We have some new friends that we look forward to getting to know better, and I just want to welcome you all in this space with us tonight. And while tonight is certainly a night of celebration, I think it is important that we first ground ourselves in why we are here tonight, in this space and in this moment, together in community. At the Coalition, we talk a great deal about what is our why, being clear about why we are in this work. Here are just a few examples of our why here at the Coalition. This evening, I want us to be thinking about a 73-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 6-year-old. Last year, a 73-year-old grandmother was shot and killed while sitting on her porch in Dorchester. Just a few weeks ago, a 14-year-old child was shot and killed in Roxbury. And shortly before that shooting, a domestic violence murder-suicide in Kingston left a 6-year-old without parents. As many of you know, I worked with a lot of kids who had been left without a parent after a domestic violence homicide. Too many kids. And that is the why that brought me into this work. It's the why that brought me into the conversation about gun violence. I also want to acknowledge that just this past weekend, 2 more lives were lost to gun violence in Boston. And my thoughts are with everyone who was impacted by those shootings. At the Coalition, we know what our why is. It guides our core values, the way that we talk about this work, and how we plan for action. The action needed to prevent the gun violence that takes so many lives and causes so much trauma. Our actions are policy change, agitating for sustained investment in community-based solutions, focusing on research, data, and lived experiences that deepen our understanding and response to gun violence. Our actions are ensuring that all of this work is driven by those most impacted by gun violence, with a constant and steady lens on the racial and economic disparities that are at the root of so much violence that we see in our communities. And that is exactly what we have been doing. Here are just a few highlights of our actions from this past year. As many of you know, in June, the Supreme Court handed down a decision that impacted the way we think about our gun licensing laws here in Massachusetts. The Coalition was very involved in successfully advocating for provisions that keep our gun laws strong in spite of that decision. These provisions were passed at the end of the legislative session. They were actually passed at around 4 o'clock in the morning, but don't ask how I know about that. We also convened a broad coalition that pushed the Commonwealth to allocate American Rescue Plan funds for violence prevention. That advocacy was also successful, resulting in a $50 million allocation for gun violence prevention, youth jobs, and reentry services. It includes funding that can be used for emergency housing for families in the aftermath of gun violence. We feel very proud of that work. We also had multiple educational events that highlight emerging research, deepen public understanding of the advocacy process, and bring forth stories and experiences of those impacted by gun violence, such as the film, This Ain't Normal, something you'll be hearing a great deal more about later in our program. This Ain't Normal, if you're not familiar with it, is a documentary made by Rudy Hippolyte and Coach Dennis Wilson, who we're here to honor this evening. Your support, all of you in our coalition community, has made all of this possible. And we are deeply grateful for the many ways you show up for us and you show up for this work, the ways that you support us, and the ways that you encourage us. Another key element of our work is collaboration with state leaders on an overall response to gun violence. Leaders such as Attorney General Maura Healey, who happens to be a past recipient of the Peace MVP Award and also happens to be a basketball player. So it felt particularly appropriate that we had her join us by video, but she prepared some remarks to share with us this evening.
Good evening, and thank you, Ruth, for inviting me to say a few words and for your leadership. Thank you to the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence and to everyone here this evening for your partnership and commitment to saving lives. As you know, gun violence in America is a public health crisis. Over 40,000 people are killed each year by firearms alone. Firearms are now the leading cause of death among our young people, killing more young people than cancer or car crashes. Gun violence is also an economic issue. It costs our country hundreds of billions of dollars each year. Gun violence, I want to be clear, is about more than mass shootings. It's about suicides, domestic abuse, community violence, and accidental shootings. Gun violence that traumatizes families and communities, yet does not often make the headlines. I'm here to stand with you in the hopes that things get better. I'm here to demand and drive change because it doesn't have to be this way, and our young people deserve better. This is why addressing and preventing gun violence has been a top priority for me as Attorney General. Over the last 8 years, we've taken a multifaceted approach to addressing gun violence. We've successfully defended our strong gun laws. We enforced our state assault weapons ban. We worked with the Mass Medical Society to develop guidance for doctors to talk to their patients about gun safety. We will continue to advocate for stronger federal and state laws. And we've invested in our young people. I launched a first-of-its-kind children's justice unit focused on promoting equity and justice for the most vulnerable children in our state. We've worked with Sandy Hook Promise to train over 140,000 teachers and students in violence prevention and mental health programming. And we started the Healthy Summer Youth Jobs program. I know that people in this room understand the increase in violence in our cities because of some of what's happening or not happening. We need to make sure that we have summer job opportunities for our young people and that we're doing everything that we can to support violence prevention. To date, we've awarded over $2 million and funded over 1,000 jobs across hundreds of organizations in the summer for our young people. I know firsthand the importance of providing healthy environments for young people to build skills and the critical role that sports can play. Sports have had a positive, lasting impact on my life, and I've applied so much of what I've learned on the basketball court to my work in the courtroom. Basketball taught me about hard work, teamwork, discipline, leadership, what it takes to succeed, and how to learn from failure. So I'm honored to join you tonight in congratulating this year's Peace MVP Award recipient, Coach Dennis Wilson. Through his work in collaboration, Coach Wilson is using the platform and the vehicle of sports to provide opportunities to our young people, to build healthier people and build our future leaders. Thank you, Coach, for your community activism and the impact you have had on countless young people in Boston. As I think about the work that lies ahead, I want to say a few things. First, I'm proud that Massachusetts continues to lead the nation with our strong gun laws. We've accomplished so much, but there's still so much important work to be done. Although we have among the lowest gun death rates in the country, gun violence continues to plague our communities. Young Black men are 19 times more likely than white men to be murdered with a gun. This is unacceptable. Together, we must continue to address the root causes of violence, invest in our young people, and fund community-based violence prevention and intervention programs. Second, we need to continue to assess and strengthen our state's gun laws. Thank you to the Coalition for your advocacy and your leadership on important legislation. And finally, as many of you know, we recently saw a major ruling out of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's decision in Bruen is dangerous and reckless. So the time for us to engage, organize, and advocate is now. It's never been more important to participate in our democratic process. I'm proud to join all of you tonight, and I'm ready for the work ahead. Thank you.
We are grateful to partnership with us and for submitting those remarks tonight. Switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about our friend, Coach Dennis Wilson. 1 year ago, my dear friend and Coalition Board Clerk, Donald Osgood, told me that he wanted me to meet the makers of the film This Ain't Normal, Rudy Hippolyte and Coach Dennis Wilson. I, of course, said yes, because I pretty much do whatever Donald tells me to do. And what an impactful yes that was. To say that this meeting was a pivotal moment for me and for the coalition and our work is an understatement. This Ain't Normal tells the stories of youth impacted by gun violence and the street workers who show up for them day in and day out. It has become a central part of our work at the coalition, and many of you here in this room have also been a central part of that work with us together. It has become a key mechanism for us to connect the stories of young people impacted by violence with policy making and policy makers. We are grateful to have this amazing storytelling as a part of what we do in the world, so that those who are in a position where they can make policy can learn from the stories of those young people. And while we're here to honor Coach Dennis Wilson this evening, I also want to appreciate our friend, Rudy Hippolyte, for all that he has done to partner with us as well. It was at our first in-person screening at Nubian Gallery that I began to understand the impact Coach has had in the Boston community. The love in that room for Coach was palpable. That was a great event. It was a great event because folks wanted to be there, but it was a great event because folks wanted to be there with you, Coach. And that's what I really began to understand, who you have been in the Boston community. Now I want to introduce our coalition community organizer, Angelica Fonts, to share a little bit more about that experience. Angelica?
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you all. At the Coalition, we firmly believe that when youth have what they need to be safe and well in the world, their outcomes will reflect this. Prevention strategies that promote healthy families, close the academic achievement gap, provide opportunities, connect youth to supportive adults, and improve community environments are key to combating youth violence in the long run. Coach is the embodiment of this sentiment. The term coach can be defined as a person who teaches and trains the members of a sports team and makes decisions about how the team plays during games. But that is an oversimplification. A coach provides space and structure for the reflection that is necessary for learning and growth. They help you understand what your values are and hold you accountable for when your actions diverge from them or your goals. And a good coach can help you reconnect with what you love about your life and work. Coach's legacy in the film This Ain't Normal are constant reminders for me about what I love about my community and the work of the Coalition. Whether he knows it or not, Coach has taught me some of the biggest lessons on resiliency. That through hard work, dedication, open eyes, and hearts, we can save and change the lives around us, including my own. To learn more about the incredible role Coach has had in the lives of youth, we will be showing clips from Rudy Hippolyte's film titled Push, Madison vs. Madison.
I'll take
You
back
look like a gangster. Like Wilson.
James, you're watching.
You look like Wilson. You good, Coach?
What? M.P. to the heart with love.
M.P. to the heart. Look at David. Look at
There you go.
M.P. to the heart.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
Well, I think it's important when you're dealing with people that you got to stay in touch. You got to stay tuned in. You know, you can't be an old fud-dud. You try to instill the old school ways and all those old school principles that'll be relevant and important to the end of time. But you also got to respect them and the young people for who they are, because this is their time. And we had our day, this is their day. also understand and present to them the negative side of some things of this day and how some of the things can be very detrimental to them. Yeah, over the years, I've unfortunately had to experience some very, very heart-wrenching and really sad and tragic stuff in losing the loss of two of my ball players. One young man just finished his senior year at the Virginia State University. He was gunned down at a party over a chain. Errol Morrison, a truly special young man, basketball, my point guard as well as my quarterback for the football team. And then another young man who was probably one of the best players ever played for Madison Park, Lloyd, I called him Automatic Industrious. Remind me so much of Reggie Lewis, the silent assassin. He just an automatic jump shot, smooth game, never said nothing to anybody, just let his jump shot do the talking.
Lloyd was the 5th child of 8. So he was like, because of the age difference, he was like my child. Coach was just someone who wanted the best for Lloyd. He was not just a coach who just wanted him to play on the court and basketball was it. He wanted the best for him. I sent him to a Division I school, Mercer. It was very financially draining on his family, so he wanted to come back to Boston so it wouldn't be a financial burden on them. He came back to Boston and wanted to transfer to Northeastern. On May 28th, on his way home from an after party, he was getting into his car on Lindsay Street. 4 guys, 2 walked up in front and 2 lagged in the back. And my brother was shot 7 times. If you haven't been in that situation, do not tell anyone that you know how they feel. You do not know how they feel. That day, it was not only Lloyd, my brother, that died. My entire family died that day.
And that really shook me up. And that's another unfortunate thing, in coaching in the inner city, where the tragedies that you go through and that are faced, sometimes don't even open up a paper sometimes or answering the phone late at night or even sometimes TV because it's unfortunate what you might see or read sometimes, but it's again some of the things that, we just have to deal with in the job that we do and the type of kids we do it with. In God's name. Amen. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? MP time. Are we ready to throw down? Yes, are we going to throw down? Yes, we go. What kind of pride? What kind of spirit? What kind of power? What kind of heart? What kind of smart? What kind of humble? What kind of hungry? What kind of focus? What kind of victory? What kind of unity? What kind of family? What kind of payback? What kind of payback? What kind of payback? What kind of payback? Yeah. Break down. Break down. Stay down. Let's go, baby. Right here. MP Rock. MP Double Rock, MP Pride. 1, 2, 3. MP Double Rock, MP Pride.
Are you ready? Yeah!
I hope that gives everyone just a little bit of information about who Coach is and the role that he has played for young people. I got to hear him do a chant like that, the one that you just heard, at the dedication of Wilson Field, the football field that was dedicated to Coach and his brother Harry just a few months ago. And I do want to mention Coach, your brother, because I know he was such a huge part of all of the work that you have done. So I just want to spend a moment appreciating him And even though he can't be with us this evening, I'd like to think that he's with us this evening. When I heard Coach do that chant, I thought, how can we possibly incorporate that into Peace MVP? And thank you, Rudy, for making that happen. It was perfect, so thank you. Now I want to switch gears again and spend a little bit of time giving some folks who have been very special to Coach a chance to speak about him. We're going to start with some prepared video remarks and also have a couple of people who have been very special to him come up and speak. We're going to start with a video from his long-term friend, Edson Cameron Jr.
Hello, everyone. My name is Edson Cameron Jr., and I'm honored to have been asked to say a few words pertaining to my good friend, Dennis Wilson. And hi, Dennis, congratulations, bro. I'm happy for you. I've known Dennis since 1971 when I first met him at Salem State College. At that time, I was a freshman and he was an upperclassman. If you know anything about Dennis, you know how vibrant and outgoing he is. Therefore, he came across as a friend, but also like a big brother for me. We had many things in common. Obviously, we're both from Roxbury. We both love basketball. So our friendship simply grew over the years. I was at the wedding of Dennis and his lovely wife, Gladys. Dennis was the best man at my wedding. Curiously, even our career choices followed a similar path. When I graduated from Salem State College, I became a special ed teacher. I taught special ed for 14 years. Dennis initially was a special ed teacher. That's where our choices diverged, and I'm going to give Dennis the credit for the ensuing 30 plus years, or 40 plus years in total. Dennis has dedicated himself to Roxbury and the greater community. Now, I'm from Roxbury, and I love Roxbury, and that's part of the reason why I just look up to Dennis, because he spent his better part of his life serving the community of Roxbury. Dennis has worked as a teacher for most of those years. He's been a fantastic coach, coaching football, high school basketball. He and his brother Harry were instrumental. In fact, not instrumental, they started from scratch a youth football league in Roxbury, right down at the field by Shelburne. And the Roxbury Raiders actually became legendary. If you're 50 years or older and you know anything about sports in our community, you've heard about the Raiders. So Dennis has done it all, and he's dedicated himself over these past 40 plus years. As a friend, I've been fortunate enough to witness Dennis in action many times. When I come home from Wisconsin, I would make a point of going to visit D just to see how he's doing. I've been in Dennis's history class. He's a fantastic teacher. I majored in history. I know how difficult it is to teach history on a high school level. The majority of young people, or students, I'll say, are not interested in history. But with Dennis at the front, it was a thing of beauty. He could get these students to interact, become interested, and pay attention. They were respectful during his class. I enjoyed sitting there just listening. Then, for a while, Dennis was a disciplinarian. And I would go up to Madison Park to meet him, and I'd talk to him. He'd say, okay, yeah, but I gotta take care of business first. So I'd be with him and just watch him. And as a former teacher, you appreciate the way the school was run when Coach Wilson was around. He'd stop students, make sure they had their hall passes, make sure they weren't dilly-dallying and going to classes, get there, go there. It was just very nice, and I'm lacking words for it, but it's the way a school should be run. There was respect there. You can see that the students admired Dennis and respected him. Respect is the word I want to use. They respected him, and he respected them. He gives you love. All the kids know that he'll give you love, and but he's also serious. He has expectations of our youth. And that's what our kids need as well. You can't let them get away with anything. Dennis gives, but he expects respect as well. And so Dennis has done this for the last 40 years, and because he's developed a level of respect and trust even in the gangs, he's able to produce that film. There's no way Dennis can go down there, I don't know what the neighborhood's called now, but over there by the old Lewis School is part of the neighborhood, and I think they had, I haven't been there for a while, but they got gangs up on the Humboldt Raiders, Orchard Park, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm saying is, Dennis was able to go to various Ables and make this film because they trusted him. And he's only gotten that trust because he's been there for the last 40 years. So, Brother D, in summary, I just want to tell you that I can't think of anyone more deserving than yourself with regards to being acknowledged and honored for all the years that you've put in. I was so happy to hear that they named the football field down there, Franklin Field, the Wilson Field, after you and your brother Harry. You guys deserve that. D, you deserve anything this city will give you. I think they should name a wing at Madison Park, the Coach Wilson wing, or at minimum, the gymnasium after Coach Wilson. But brother, you've paid your dues for the past 40 plus years. I love you, and I'm gonna stop here at this point. Hope to see you soon in the future. Take care, bro.
So if anyone is here from Madison Park, you heard the part about the wing, right? We'll follow up on that later. I would love to call up Ryan Harrell and Walter Prince, please. Ryan was the captain of the City All-Star Class of 2001, and he's here to say some words.
Good evening. Coach Wilson, this is surreal sitting up here and listening to everyone honor you, because I met Coach Wilson when I was 10 years old playing for the Boston Raiders, the Roxbury Raiders at Clifford Park. And I remember it was so hot back then, they had us doing two-a-days. And anybody knows about working out with the Wilsons, it's all about accountability. And Coach Dennis Wilson wasn't there, but Coach Harry Wilson was there. And I love Coach Harry Hammer Wilson, but he held us and loved us a different way than what Coach Wilson loved us, in a different way. Like, you know, he was a good cop and a bad cop. And one thing about having Coach Harry there is he was more or less the bad cop in most of those situations. He was gonna make us bum boys run extra hard and, you know, just make us go through the same thing that Coach Dennis would make us go through, but in a different way. So one thing that Coach Dennis would do is just come, and his energy would just lighten up maybe 80 young men. And he would be the only one who could even challenge his brother and say, give him a break, give him a break. So, you know, and that was at 10 years old. So just listening to that, you know, and listening to the Raiders, and then from there, I went to Madison Park, and Coach Wilson wasn't coaching basketball before I got to Madison. He stopped coaching. He was at Brandeis University, and I knew Coach Wilson was coming back. So a lot of kids were going to a lot of different other schools, but I loved Coach Wilson so much because he is and he was, and he's a surrogate father to me, so I wanted to be around him so much. Didn't even know he was a history teacher at that point in time, but I made it a point to go back to Madison because I know he was reviving Madison, and I wanted to make a name there, and he helped me to do that. And so I'm so grateful to Coach. I also got to witness Coach in his teaching role. Coach Wilson is an excellent history teacher. I love history because of Coach Wilson. I am a Boston historian because of Coach Wilson. I know that when there was the Boston riots and Mayor Kevin White at the time called James Brown to perform at the Boston Garden, I know that Coach Wilson was out there protesting and having people stopping the looting and everything. Coach Wilson was out there being a champion and making sure that everybody was in order. I know that because he taught me that. And that's history that I teach everybody. Do you know that James Brown performed at the Boston Garden? I still teach young people that to this day, and everybody thinks that's just my knowledge. No, that knowledge was passed on from Coach Wilson. I saw a picture of images of Madison Park playing Taunton High, and it looked like that might have been Brockton at Brockton High, and that was for the championship, state championship at the time. And it's so weird. I referee, and I am a coach, and I was just at Taunton High. And the coach who you coached against that time, his daughter's name is Gretchen. I don't remember his name, but we had a long conversation about you in that game. So your name still comes up to this day in my life every day. There's not a, I walk around the city the way I do because of the way that Coach Wilson taught me how to walk around the city. I had a father, a very involved father, but Coach Wilson was just as involved in my maturation process. So, you know, I'm so honored to be able to speak, and it's so, like I said, surreal because it could have been anybody. There's so many people, not hundreds, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who got the lessons that I got through you, because those lessons stick and we pass them along. We have Domingo, who was a coach for the Raiders and a mentor for me, who's also carrying the baton, and so many other people in this room. So, you know, I'm preaching to the choir when we're talking about Coach, but you're just so influential in my life, in the city's life. I appreciate your family, your wife. She's let you take phone calls from me at all times of the night. I appreciate Tyreek. Yes, yes, please clap it up. I appreciate Tyreek Wilson for allowing his father to father so many people. I know what it's like. I have parents who father and mothered so many people, so I know what it's like. And Tyreek has never, ever, ever, ever been jealous of his father giving his love to everyone in the city. So I love you for that, Tyreek. And it's just hats off to the Wilson family, and especially you, Coach. And I love you. And you know, at a drop of a dime, I'm always there. So, you know, MP Rock, Breakdown Raiders for life. I see y'all soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the community, family and friends of Dennis Wilson, honored guests all. My name is Walter Prince, and I have the high privilege and the distinct honor of introducing this year's 2022 Peace MVP Award recipient, Coach Dennis Wilson. I have had the pleasure of knowing the coach for many, many, many years, going back to his earliest days as a coach in Boston. And as everyone in this room knows, he embodies everything that you could hope for for a motivating and inspiring leader. First and foremost, Dennis is an accomplished leader whose personal integrity and professional ethics are above reproach. He's smart, he's thoughtful, astute, thorough, focused, and he's steady. He's humble, creative, and courageous. On top of that, he has a marvelous sense of humor, and he often makes fun of himself. In a word, he has all the qualities that make him the consummate leader that he is today. In addition, he's also what you would call a good guy. The fact that he's a good guy is obvious, as reflected by the number of people here from near and far who have turned out tonight to honor Dennis. Now, this is an auspicious moment. It's momentous, it's special for Dennis and his family and friends, indeed for all of us. We celebrate and acknowledge his achievements and his accomplishments. Let me first, however, acknowledge his immediate family. His wife, Gladys, of 35 years. And his son, Tyreek, a Nauset, Boston entrepreneur. Now, allow me to tell you something about Dennis. Dennis grew up in Roxbury, and signs of his lifelong vocation were revealed during his adolescent years on Homestead Street. I know because I witnessed it. We used to play touch football on the street. Now, I was the quarterback, and Dennis was the wide receiver. But often in that huddle, Dennis would try to call the play. I would call the play, and he'd say, no, Walt. And this is how he would talk. Walt, I'm going to run 10 yards straight, then I'm going to hook right behind that green Buick over there. And I want you to throw it at that green Buick, and I'll catch it. And oftentimes it worked. And when it didn't, he'd come back to the huddle, and he'd coach us up for the next play. And at the ripe old age of 18, he received the call. The Humboldt Bombers needed a coach, and Dennis answered that call. Now, I don't know what the record was or how successful the Bombers were that season, but whatever their record, Dennis was hooked. He recognized his calling, and he never wavered. As all of you know, he's gone on to establish and coach the Boston Raiders football and cheerleader teams since 1975. He's coached at Roxbury High, then he's coached at Madison Park, and he's coached the basketball team for 33 years. And he's been the producer and focal point of 2 television Emmy-nominated and award-winning documentaries. He's a co-producer of the Showtime documentary, This Ain't Normal, and he's the main character, as you saw tonight, in the documentary film Push, Madison versus Madison, which, by the way, has been shown on ESPN over 40 times. He's been a Division I Mass State Coach of the Year 3 times, and he has over 400 coaching wins. That's an established and outstanding record. Dennis has devoted his life to shaping the lives of young people in the Boston area. He has impacted the lives of many girls and boys through sports in a positive way. He's taught them structure, discipline, and many of life's lessons. He's been a surrogate father to hundreds of children, knowing them all by name and dealing with each one through a spirit of love and compassion. I am so proud of Coach Dennis Wilson and what he has accomplished. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Coach Dennis Wilson this year's 2022 Peace MVP Award recipient.
Before Coach comes up, we have just one more thing that we want to do. I also just want to take a moment and recognize our very dear friend and coalition champion, Representative Liz Miranda, who is joining us this evening. Thank you so much for being with us today. You have truly been a champion for us, and we're grateful to have you. Before we actually get to the award, we have one more small surprise for you, Coach. Actually, we have a couple of fun things to announce. Has anyone heard of Robert Griffin III? Folks know who he is? Because I was oblivious. So apparently tonight is Monday Night Football, and there are some people who are not so happy with me because this was scheduled during Monday night. I know, Janet, I know. We'll make it up to you somehow. But Robert Griffin III is a former quarterback, ESPN analyst, and each week with Monday Night Football, he picks a nonprofit to highlight as a part of his coverage. Tonight's Monday Night Football is here in Massachusetts, and the nonprofit that he is highlighting is the Coalition. So that's super exciting. And because we definitely have a big sports connection this evening, we have one more thing we would like to do before we actually give you the award, Coach. It's a small surprise.
What's up, everybody? It's Grant Williams from the Boston Celtics. First, I want to congratulate this year's Peace MVP, Coach Dennis Wilson. Through his years of coaching basketball and football, he has impacted so many lives of young people. We know that your investment in youth is also an investment in peace. I also want to congratulate the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. Thank you for your commitment to doing everything in your power to prevent even one more life from being taken by gun violence. On behalf of the Boston Celtics, I congratulate Coach Dennis Wilson for his activism and Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence for all your advocacy.
Hold on, Molly. Don't walk away so quickly. Everyone, please appreciate Molly Malloy, who was relentless with the Celtics and absolutely made that video happen. So, Coach, I wanted you to know. Does anybody here know Cindy Diggs? Cindy Diggs, I'm very proud to say, is our Coalition Vice President. She is known as the Peace Commissioner. She was also the 2021 recipient of the Peace MVP Award, and I'm thrilled to have her join us this evening.
Thank you. I have the distinguished honor in presenting this award to a good friend and fellow advocate of our young people in Boston. But before I do that, I just want to give you a little bit of history behind the Peace MVP Award. So back in 2015, I used to co-produce a basketball tournament called Got Peace, along with Anthony Robinson. If you know him, he's known as Big Time. And so the coalition came to us and asked us about presenting an award at this event. And of course, this is the first time we ever heard of presenting a big peace award at a basketball tournament, hence the name Peace MVP. And that year, we gave the award to Speaker DeLeo, so you're in good company, Coach Wilson. And that year was the year that Madison Park High School won the We Got Peace Award for the school with the biggest turnout. MP also performed at the halftime show, and we had an award presented to you all by the governor. So it's very important to know that tonight, being the 7th annual, the 7 Principles of Peace, is right on time just for you, Coach Wilson. And for those of us who know and who have worked with young people, it's the most important thing in promoting peace is having a positive influence in young people's lives, and that's the work that Coach has been doing for 4 decades. So with no further ado, I bring up my friend and colleague, Coach Dennis Wilson.
MVP. Wow, wow, wow. When it started thundering and lightning early today, I said, oops, there'll be 7 people at the event. My family, Ruth, Angelica, and Cindy. First, I want to thank the Creator, the Most Highest, the Heavenly Father, for giving me the gift, the strength, and the opportunity to do what I do. And I sincerely mean this. When I started out at 18, some young guys from Humboldt, I can remember Rudy Chandler and Mike Hankins and Kit, and those guys, they needed a coach to get into 13 and under. And I said, I don't coach, I can't coach. They said, but you can play. I said, I can barely do that. They said, but we need a coach. We can't get into BNBL unless we have a coach. I said, all right, sign me up. So I did it, didn't know what I was doing. I just was yelling. You know, I'm good for yelling. And we end up, I said, wow, I like this. And I've been doing it ever since. I'm glad Walter made me sound young. Since 18. I'm 37. So, oh yeah, please, Lord. I'm 71, I'll tell the truth. You know, I just, again, I'm truly touched, honored, when these 2 super women approached me, and I'm talking about Ruth Zachary. Where'd she go? Oh, there she go. Ruth and the other superwoman, Angelica. Where are they at? Where's Angelica? Okay. You guys got to hold on one sec. Yeah. Give them some love. Give them some love. From the sponsors to and anybody who, of course, was part of this great organization called the Mass Coalition. You guys are doing so many great things, spreading the word, doing away with these unfortunate gun violence and crazy assault weapons that we have to eliminate totally, and I'll speak on that later. But I just wanted to show a token of my appreciation to Mass Coalition and to 2 super young ladies that thought enough of me. Come on up here, Angelica. You just don't know how hard they work. Cindy knows, because you do the same kind of thing. Just one of my quotes that in sayings, Rudy knows, it's about opening eyes and saving lives. And we got so many people here, Ron and everybody, different organizations, yeah, that we're losing too many valuable lives, too many valuable, intelligent, talented black and brown young men who unfortunately are getting caught up and unfortunately not being given a second chance or even sometimes a third chance. Valuable, intelligent, talented young men, gifted young men that Rudy and I had an opportunity to interview, to make that award, Emmy-nominated award-winning film, This Ain't Normal. And I never in my wildest dreams, I've never grown up in Roxbury and proud to say it. Yeah, Roxbury in the house. Yeah, Roxbury in the house. And never in my wildest dreams did this working with young people because I wanted to make a positive impact in young people's lives through football, through basketball, through history, through yelling and screaming, through me scaring them with my ugly face and my big mouth, that whatever it took to make sure these young folks did the right thing and believed in themselves like I did. You know, one pair of sneakers, two pairs of pants. I tell the young kids the story. And they like, you know, because again, when you become a teacher, you get a little money in your pocket, a little credit. You go out and get you some ties and some suits and a couple pairs of gaiters, okay? And they think that you're rich. They think a teacher's rich because you're wearing a suit and a tie. They don't know that I came from humble beginnings. I came from dirt poor Howard Avenue, Homestead Street. And I tell them my stories, you know, eating bread because there wasn't no peanut butter and jelly. And then I said, it's not where you started, it's where you end up. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so many young men, like the young man that spoke, I call him Riz Ryan Harrell, like a son, like a surrogate son. And then my good buddy, who I grew up with, again, he didn't tell you the reason why I didn't make it to the NFL was his fault. Reason why I didn't make it to the NBA was his fault. But in all seriousness, I just can't thank you all enough for being here because you came through the bad weather. You came to support not only the great coalition, the mass coalition, but you came to honor myself. And again, I don't want to be redundant, but I did not do this for this. I really and truly, I got some of my old school buddies here, you know, Mike and Gil and Anthony and some of the guys that like I said, Domingo, he's out there fighting the fight, trying to clean up Clifford Park with them doggone needles and syringes because his young kids, okay, have to play in a park that's infected with unfortunate drug paraphernalia, and no kids, as you know, should have to deal with something like that. But he's fighting the fight like I'm fighting the fight, like many of you all are fighting the fight, and we're going to win the fight. I had the opportunity to make an award-winning film with a director-producer extraordinaire. And Rudy, you got to stand up. I want to acknowledge you. I know I'm going to get in trouble, but I've been fired before. We had a dream team, Rudy, Malik, extraordinary music composer and director, as well as Meredith West, who always got the word out from the Washington Post and to the New York Daily News and all over the place. And we had the opportunity to do some great screenings for the great, courageous Ayanna Pressley in D.C. and East Hunter College in East Harlem. And of course, many colleges and churches in Boston. Of course, Committee for Juvenile Justice and the Restoration Program and Project. And I can go on and on and on, Big Brothers, Big Sister Partners and all that. And it's because I believe, Rudy and I believe when we made those films, it was all about opening eyes and saving lives. That if we could get in front of, which we did, even screened for the mass legislators, to let them know that you all got to change some of these laws. You guys got to give these young brothers, these young men that have just unfortunately got caught up or misguided or not given equal access, equal opportunity. You got to provide them with the mental health services, the skilled training programs, better education. You got to provide them with jobs that are so much needed, as you see in the film. If you haven't seen it, This Ain't Normal on Showtime, Vudu, and Google Play, and all that other stuff. That Rudy and I never thought that that film would be so successful, and we're still screening, and we've collaborated with, of course, Cindy and Ron, and of course, the Mass Coalition. We've got a super dream team, as I said, Angelica and Ruth, and we're going to continue to do screenings. We hope that, again, you guys will get the information and help get this film in front of more eyes, from law enforcement to parents to youth to kids to the schools, maybe even part of the curriculum in schools. We had the opportunity to screen it in front of Rachel Rollins, seen it twice. She supported it and promoted it. So I just am so gifted, as I said, to be able to do what I do in the classroom, on the field, on the court. I've been so blessed to have the family that I have, a very strong, supportive, passionate, understanding wife. Show some love to my wife, please, Gladys. It is not easy being a coach's wife. Now, if I went 100 and 0, it would be all right, but I lost a few. And she was always there for me, always, again, supportive, even knows basketball and football, watching it with me, and that means so much to me. She blessed me with a beautiful young man, a young man that I have the honor of now coaching with. And there's nothing better, and I know some of you guys have daughters and sons, and to be able to coach with someone you taught how to walk, with someone you taught how to ride a bike, someone you taught how to drive. Now he's helping me coach and even showing me a few things. Show some love for my son, please, Tyreek. Y'all probably said, well, wow, I hope you all got your turkey and your stuffing and your cranberry sauce. And I hope you already did your Christmas shopping, because we're going to be here a while. No, I'm just kidding. Because y'all, those that you all know me, right? Yeah, Domingo, Riz, yeah. I want to acknowledge a good friend that flew in for this from California, Greg Selko. Show some love for Greg. Sarah, I ain't forgot about you. Cindy and Sarah, keep doing the great things you're doing. Keep helping us save lives and open eyes. Yeah, because it's Peter Maher, Roxbury High School teacher, came all the way from probably on either Alaskan or the Sierra Nevada mountains or whatever. He's always traveling, but to see you here, man, that's really special, man. Yes, indeed, yeah. I'd like y'all to help me out a little bit. I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm probably not the smartest person on the stage. But I got to speak on put my little social activism hat on. Because it's mind-boggling to me, like I told you before, we're losing too many gifted, talented young men at an alarming rate to gun violence and gang violence. And it just hurts me every time. Like I said, you heard what I said, and that was back in, Rudy and I started making that film back in, we finished making it in 212, Push Madison. And it just, I've been to too many funerals, not enough weddings, and not enough college graduations. And it's mind-boggling me, help me with this, that this country will put money before lives, that this country will allow young people, I don't care if you raise the age to 21, well, you could raise the age to 85. No individuals, no citizen should be able to buy assault weapons, AK-47s, AR-15s, to murder young innocent school children, young innocent people in supermarkets, young innocent people in malls, sick and demented individuals just getting guns and rifles and want to gun people down because of their warped views and their demented views or because of the color of our skin. Make money the right way, not through selling assault weapons that take lives. So that's my little, we had the opportunity, Rudy and I, to screen in front of the Massachusetts legislators, and that was something that I know the Mass Coalition, they do a lot of lobbying, and it's a kind of an unappreciative job, but a very valuable job. So Rudy and I, we are going to do whatever we can to keep putting this film in front of folks, and again, if we can change one mind, save one life, that's one less life lost. If we can open up an eye of a police officer or a judge or a lawyer or a parent, because we have a responsibility too as parents. Yeah, we got to give that tough love and that labor of love. And it's just nowadays, it's funny when I talk to those kids, man, it's gimme, gimme, do. I want. And back in some of our days and all that, man, you got something for doing something. You do good things, you get good things. You do nothing, you get nothing. Nowadays, unfortunately, some parents are not giving them what they really need, tough love, and not giving them, that religious foundation, not giving them, the education as much as they can give them, and letting them know, the value system, how to treat people no matter what color you are, what religion you are, because again, we're all God's children. I don't care, black, brown, white, yellow, pinstripe, or polka dot. We're all God's children, and we need to kind of foster and promote loving one another, respecting one another. And I tell folks, whether you with the Proud Boys or the doggone MAGAs or whatever, you ain't gonna invite me to the wedding, you ain't gonna invite me to the cookout. Just respect me, just don't hurt me. In closing, what I would like to do is there's so many programs that, again, are doing good things, and there's some programs that we all know that are not doing good things. Unfortunately, they're getting funded, and the funding's going in the wrong places instead of going to the community and to the kids and these youth programs that are giving these kids, whether it be the arts or giving these kids different skills they need to be successful, whether career voc tech skills or the creative minds of singing and dancing and making things, all those things. A better education, how about that? Better public schools, okay? It can't always be, no offense to those of us who went to the exam schools, but all children matter. Education of all children matter, whether it be PS or whether what? Exam schools, private schools, or prep schools. So I would hope that we would support programs that are doing the right thing. My buddy and I, we have of course, our company is Creative Buzz, small, nonprofit filmmaking company that, again, we do it out of our own pocket. We lost big money the first film, but we said, that's all right, we're validated, we made it. Then we lost money the second film. That's all right, we're saving lives, As I look in the refrigerator, it's empty, and I had to borrow money from Rudy because he got big pockets. No, I'm just kidding, Rudy, I'm just kidding. But I just want to shout out some of these programs. Citizens for Juvenile Justice, the Transformational Prison Project. Hello, yeah. Because if I made a mistake, which we all made mistakes, some folks get third and fourth chances. Some folks get one. And if I stole a car or sold some drugs or shoplifted or did something, unfortunately, even a little bit more serious, I did my time, and I did the crime, and I did the time. Now, why can't I get a second chance? Why can't you support me having a second chance? My son and I, I'm very fortunate to say in another proud moment, my son and I started a sports program, basketball program called Legends Basketball. So if you guys would love that support too, he and I had a nice camp this summer, a bunch of little kids. We provided the breakfast and the lunch and even T-shirts and awards and even at the end we had donations from Stop and Shop and New Balance to give them school supplies and some bags and school supplies, which to see their eyes light up and to see these young kids, that just never get much, nothing but yelled at in a no. So that is, again, Legends Basketball Program. And if you can remember this here, okay, all right? I don't know if you can, okay, but I had it here, I lost it. That's all right. Go on site, Legends Basketball. I do. I'm gonna get fired. Okay. Yeah, can't find that one. But so those are the programs that I'd like you to consider supporting, if you could, okay? Because they need your support. They definitely need your support. So in closing, thank you once again, everybody, for coming, showing the love. I feel it. I can't thank you all enough. I can't thank again Mass Coalition Against Gun Violence for this, again, this coveted award, because once I found out that Cindy Diggs got it, I said it is special. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for the love. Make a difference in a young person's life. All right, love you all. The lovely mistress of ceremonies, give it up for Ruth Zachary. Angelica Fons. And let me just say, you all are in for a big treat. You better not go nowhere. There's a young lady that's gonna be performing. And I had she's on the Push Madison. She is performing, right. She was on the Push Madison documentary, her and her gifted brother, Lou Bello. So I would love you all to stay. She is performing right after me. I'm gonna shut it down. Show some love for Lisa Bello. She gonna rock the house, okay? Thank you.
Speaking of history and being a historian, so back in 2005, I started a hip-hop peace movement called Peace Boston. And there were a select group of artists that came together to produce the Peace in the Streets album. There were over 100 of them. And Lisa Bello was one of them who not only performed on that album, but she came to every single event that we needed someone to perform at. And I just love her for all of her work, and having been a teacher and educator, and she allowed me to come to her classroom and always work with us with the young people. So come on up, Lisa, and show them what you got.
I don't know how I follow that up, but yes, to all of that. Coach Wilson, it's an honor that they allowed me to perform tonight. And I say allowed because to follow up after you is a big deal. Obviously, you know I know all about the This Ain't Normal. I was on your first movie soundtrack. But the bigger thing is I was a Latin Academy kid, and I coached at the Timothy, so I was always in your space, whether I was playing or coaching my girls, or, you know, we were always over there. We've always known who you are before we worked together. And you're just such a big staple in the community. I'm a Hyde Park kid, but I spent so many nights in Roxbury because of my Latin Academy connection. So you've been around, you're from the town, and it's just such a big deal that you should be honored more than tonight and beyond it. And I appreciate that I'm allowed to do this tonight. As Cindy said, I was a Timothy teacher, and I came with, yeah, shout out to the Timothy. Sadly, it's no more, but the kids are still in the community. But in 2008, Stephen Odom was one of my students, and if you know of Stephen Odom, he was murdered in Roxbury. And the day that that happened, Cindy was the person I called, and unfortunately, it was more and more kids in our community that it happened. So this coalition is such a big deal in my heart, too. And when I was writing this song, Stephen was on my mind. And we're going to keep it low and then turn it up for you guys. The song's called Make It. Hey, 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 hey. Running round, running round, running round slowly. Taking my mind apart. I'm trying to figure out why I feel so lonely. You're standing there across from me, but you're 1,000 miles away. Said, how we gonna make it if we don't really know what we're here for? Hey, yeah, yeah. Said, how we gonna make it if every other day leaves my heart sore? Thinking about everything. If we don't want to take a stand, how can we make it right? It seems like every other word is thoughts and prayers, and I'm sorry's. Then you don't do it, and they all quit, and it's a constant rotary. Said, how we gonna make it if we don't really know what we stand for? Hey, yeah, yeah. Said, how we gonna make it if every other day leaves my heart sore? So I say, so we gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it. So we gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it, yeah. So we gon' make it, so we gon' make it, so we gon' make it. So we gon' make it, we gon' make it, yeah. That song's called Make It. Now we gotta turn up. We have 2 more songs. We're gonna be polite to everybody's time. But if you know me, who's my favorite artist? Thank you. Stevie Wonder. So let's do a little Stevie. Never thought I'd be doing Stevie in a church, but here we are on a Monday. I don't know if we're able to turn this up at all this up. We could just, you know, get crunk on a Monday. I'm with it. Yes. Looking back on when I was a little curly hey girl. Hey, yeah, my only worry was for Christmas what would be my toy. Oh, this ever happened to you? Even though we sometimes would not get a thing, we were happy with the joy the day would bring. Sneaking out the back door, go hang out with them hoodlum friends of mine. Hey, come on, seen her coming out the back door, but thought I told you not to go outside. No, you're trying your best to bring the water to your eyes, hoping it might stop her from whooping you behind. I wish those days would come know you know the song. Come on. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Is this appropriate? Brother said he's telling about you playing doctor with that girl. It's fine, right? We're here. Just don't tell, I'll give you anything you want in this whole wide world. Oh, teacher sends you straight to the principal's down the hall. I'm gonna keep it light. Listen, I wish those days would come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? And I wish those days would come back once more. Why did those days ever have to go? And I love this song, yeah. All right, give it up for yourselves. Give it up for yourselves. Now, we'll stay in the Stevie vein. Coach, is this somebody's anniversary tonight? Is it? Is it an anniversary? Do you guys have an anniversary? I don't know if you know this song, but I feel like at this time I want to sing this song for you guys. Is that your wedding song? If you want to dance to it, it would be an honor. If you want to enjoy it. If not, you can just enjoy it from your seats. But it's a big deal that you're spending your anniversary with us. Congratulations, happy anniversary. Oh, so long for this night. I pray that a star would guide you my way to share with me this special day. There's a ribbon in the sky for our love. If allowed, may I touch your hand, and if please, may I once again, so that you too will understand. There's a ribbon in the sky for our love. This is not a coincidence, and for more than a lucky chance. But what is and was always made is our ribbon in the sky for our love. We can lose with God on our side. We'll find strength in each other's tears we cry. From now on, we'll be you and I. There's a ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky for our love. There's a ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky for our love. Congratulations, happy anniversary. Janine Antonellis on the keys. Thank you so much.
And happy anniversary to Coach and Gladys. We're so thrilled to celebrate with you. Before everyone leaves tonight, just a few more things that we need to do. I just want to share a little bit more with you about the work of the coalition and what I hope you will take away from this evening. And if there's nothing else that you take away from this evening, I hope it is a sense of what our coalition community is about. And what I feel in this room right now is time for pictures. And I hope you all feel it as well. It's a great deal of love and hope, a deep connection that brings us all together. Our coalition is built on all of these things. I am ending this evening feeling very energized and ready for the work that lies ahead. I hope you will all join us for that work. We have another legislative session ahead of us. We have a great deal of work to do to make sure that we get a comprehensive gun bill passed, that we get policies passed that address root causes of violence, such as our work on juvenile justice and ensuring that youth, all youth, have the resources that they need to be safe and well. Pushing our state and community and municipal leaders to invest in community-based solutions and the communities most impacted by gun violence. Educating the public on the intersection of guns and issues like domestic violence and suicide prevention, and telling the story of youth impacted by gun violence, such as This Ain't Normal. And we need your help to do it. We hope you will all show up for the work of the coalition. We need your support to do it. There's a QR code on your program. If you would like to support our work, please see that code. That's a way that you can make a donation and ensure that our work continues. And I want to also just spread some gratitude. I want to thank the Cathedral for hosting us. This is a beautiful space. I want to thank our leadership team, our board and community council. Raise your hand if you're on our leadership team, because we just want to appreciate you. Our amazing staff, Emily and Angelica, you're the heart and soul of this organization. We couldn't do this without you. Lisa Bello, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. And thank you for conspiring on the anniversary song. I appreciate that. We did a little bit of scheming before this. And of course, I want to thank Coach, who this evening is all about. I want to leave you with one final thought, and that we have something else to give to Coach before our evening is done. At the beginning of the evening, I talked about a 73-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And now I'm going to have all of my pieces of information in order. But right now, I would like to speak about a 91-year-old. As so many of you know, a few weeks ago, activist and Metco co-founder Jean McGuire was stabbed in Franklin Park while she was out for a walk with her dog. First and foremost, we wish her health and strength as she continues her recovery. Upon her release from the hospital, she had the following call to action. These are her words. I always want to find out why you're so angry or why you want to hurt someone else. That's something that becomes a foundation of why people go to war at the national and international level. This issue of putting money into weaponry instead of into homes, roads, healthcare and dental care, good food, grass and trees, animals, things that make you happy. Failing to do so, she said, is a misuse of our wealth and our power. She went on to say, for life, not death, it has always got to be for life. It has always got to be for the future. And what Coach tells us all the time is it's about opening eyes and saving lives. And those words made me think of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Coach has just one 20-second thing he wants to say.
I would be remiss. There's a couple of folks that I just want to acknowledge that made a special effort to be here. And first and foremost, show some love to my niece. Yeah. And the jazzy name, I call her Niecy. She got this jazzy name that, okay, so yeah, Niecy. And her lovely mom, my sister-in-law, Annette Edwards. Thank you for coming. This suave, debonair young brother up front here, y'all probably thought, that he was Anthony Hamilton, which is the great R&B singer. This brother here has been, fighting the fight. Before I knew him, Rudy and I had an opportunity. He offered to be part of the This Ain't Normal film, and he's a big player in the movie, major contributor to the movie. He's out there saving these young boys' lives. He's turned his life around. He's on our team with Ruth and Angelica and Rudy and I and his brother Roger. And I really, Donald, I can't say enough for the respect I have for you, for the love I have for you, for what you do. I went and saw his, Get Connected. I went to his son's football game, and he tore it up. He's gonna be on live on NBC, CBS. So show some love for Donald Osgood, everybody. And I see Nichelle back there. I had the honor, we're gonna do some screenings with her. One of my best friends, along with Walter Prince, her dad, Craig Williams, the W's was, you old people know what I'm talking about, young people don't know it, put everybody in alphabetical order. And me and Craig always was last, always last. So I just want to thank you for your support for Rudy and I's film. Let's save lives, open eyes, save lives. Everybody, come on, make a difference, y'all. Make a difference in someone's lives in your special way. Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, everybody. Love y'all. Thank you.